Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, the show where we'll help you understand with the closing action on the day trades, starting from the benchmark index moves to sectoral action and all the stocks that are buzzing the most in trade. We'll also help you with the expert views, both technical and fundamental, as far as how should you be approaching the stock markets now and where are the opportunities emerging for you as a stock market investor. All of that coming up, but first up, a quick check on how the markets are doing at this point in time. Well, as we inch closer to the day's end of trade, the markets are still hovering lower in trade with 136 point of a cut on the Nifty. That's about a 0.7% of a loss. It's hovering below that 18,500 mark. Let's look at the Sensex as well. That's somehow come off the day's lowest point, but still is about 390 odd points, lower in trade today. Among the broader markets, when you talk about the mid caps, that's still down by about 0.2%, but the small caps are still up by about 0.25% in today's trading action. In terms of the sectors as well, there's clear pressure coming in on the Nifty Bank today and all the constituents of the Nifty Bank as well. You can see 1.3% of a downtick for the Nifty Bank. It's trading near the day's low, and all the constituents, including the financial services, the private banks and the PSU banks as well, all trading with losses in today's trading action. What's, however, still doing better in trade today is some of the defensives like the IT pack, for example, that's up by 0.3%, or the pharma stocks, in fact, are up by about 0.8, 0.9% odd in trade. We've also seen some pickup coming in the second half of trading action on the realty pack as well, with 0.7% of a move on the upside. We're also seeing some gains, slight gains coming in on the media stocks as well in today's trading action, but rest of the sectors are actually trading with losses, with sharper losses being seen on the financial services pack. But let's welcome our guests on the show. Joining in with me is Mr. Vineet Bulinchkar, Head of Research of Ventura Securities, and also joining in is Ruchit Jain, Lead Research Analyst at 5paisa. Welcome to both of you and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. Vineet, let me start off with you. Your thoughts on the kind of dip that we have seen today, any kind of concerns that you've been able to spot in the markets, and is this downtick something that investors should be wary of, or is it just a dip?
Last Friday we opened out with a gap, and for 2-3 days we were, trading pretty firm. But the price action was in a very narrow range, and today we've gapped down. So that is a little bit concerning, on a technical basis. But on the fundamental side, I think we are pretty much on track. And there's a little concern on the international side where the debt ceiling is not being resolved.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of concern, and we have seen banking stocks come off. But overall, I believe that we will see this resolution happen in the next few days, and these dips should be looked at to buy into in the markets.
Okay, these dips should be looked at as a buying opportunity. Ruchit, what about you? How are the charts really looking for both the Nifty and the Nifty Bank? Nifty Bank, especially when recently we've seen those, all-time high levels being seen. Nifty still is away from their all-time high levels. What do you spot on the charts?
Yeah, hi, very good afternoon, Sakshi. Overall, the technical structure is still positive. If you look at recent action, then the first half of the May, we witnessed an uptrend where 18,450 acted as a resistance. Then after some consolidation for about couple of weeks time frame, we saw a breakout above that 18,450. So sometime what happens that post the breakout, when we witness an up move, we see a pullback move towards that breakout level where earlier resistances act as a support. So I think that 18,450, 18,500 is a good support range for the index. And even if you compare if you look at the derivatives data, then FIS have been on the long side in the index future segment after I think 4 or 5 series. Their long short ratio right now is around 60-61%, and they have been continuously buying in the cash segment too. And historically, we have seen that whenever such situation comes that FIs go low, buy in the cash segment and have formed long positions in the index future segment, such phases usually lead to a trended up moves. So I think overall the data is positive. The 20 EMA is still protected. So I think until we see any kind of change in data, this today's move should be seen just as a pullback move. And once this pullback move is over, we should see a resumption of the uptrend. So we are advising our clients to use this dip as a good buying opportunity and look for stocks which could give some good outperformance in the near term.
Okay, again, buying on dips kind of a strategy. So both our guests are recommending that at this point in time and not worry too much about the dip that you're seeing at this point in time. But of course, the news of the day is, again bringing our focus back onto the Adani group of stocks today. Of course, SEBI has released a consultation paper wherein it has seek more enhanced transparency measures for foreign portfolio investors on the back of the recent Adani Hindenburg debacle. We've also seen the market regulator seeking to introduce a framework to impose additional disclosure requirements for the FPIs who meet subjective objective criteria as well. Now, SEBI for now has recommended that high-risk foreign portfolio investors holding more than 50% of their equity assets under management in a single conglomerate group would have to comply with the requirements of the additional disclosures. Vineet, what do you think of this news and the way Adani Group stocks have reacted today following this?
I think it's not too much of a concern. I believe that things transparency is always good for the markets, and SEBI steps are in the right direction. And I believe that these dips in the market should be used as buying opportunity in Adani stocks, because we believe that the businesses, after the clean sheet that has been given, is a very, very strong buy signal. And we believe that the company is back on the growth track. They'll be raising additional funds for growth capital. Now more funds are also looking to participate in the debt paper of the companies, and that bodes well for the long-term growth plans of this conglomerate. So
Right.
we believe that this becomes a buying opportunity.
Buying opportunity in these dips. Which are the stocks then you would recommend to buy now? Because especially apart from the developments that we've been seeing, you're talking about the positive outcome of the internal committee's report that came out, and after that we've been seeing SEBI steps in the right direction. But we've also seen the earnings come about for most of these group stocks. In fact, the Adani Group's combined consolidated net profit has jumped 17% to 9,094 crore rupees in Q4. So which are the key stocks that you would recommend to buy right now?
So we are recommending to buy into Adani Transmission. We like Adani Ports, Adani Enterprises, and we also like Adani uh, Adani Green to look at.
Okay. Ruchit, are there any stocks from this basket that you believe that on technical charts are looking positive at this point in time apart from the earnings? Is there any structure that one should watch out for?
So off late, what we have seen that Adani Group stocks are moving more on news based, rather than looking at technicals. So I think it's very a bit difficult to track the short term momentum or guess the short term momentum for these Adani Group stocks. But whatever chart structures are available, I think couple of names that could stand out going ahead. One would be Adani Ports, where there's a good support base placed around that 700, 680 range. So if that remains intact, then we could see a decent up move in short to medium term in Adani Ports. And Ambuja Cement would be the second stock where I think the price wise correction seems to be over. The stock is now undergoing some time wise corrective phase, which once this is over, then we could witness some decent up move in Ambuja Cement as well. But of course, as I said, it's difficult to take a very short term call on these stocks because these
Sure.
movements are more news based rather than any kind of fundamentals or technicals based on this. So I won't no advise it to buy from a very short term perspective, but if one is looking from a medium term perspective, at least 6 months or above, then Adani Ports and Ambuja Cement should be preferred.
Okay, ports and Ambuja Cements as the key major stocks that you would recommend. But Vineet, what about the flagship firm Adani Enterprises? Now, when we talk about the earnings here, the company posted highest revenue and profit growth amongst the group companies. Its net profit rose 218% to 2,473 crores. Revenue surged almost 100% to about 1.37 lakh crore rupees in FY23. However, its net margin just stood at about 1.8%, second lowest in the group. But the stock, in fact, despite all the movement in the downside for most of the stocks, Adani Enterprises is one stock that is still performing better in trade today despite the overall subdued move. What is leading to this buoyancy over 2,500 levels? Is this the right time to get into the stock?
So, analysts should, investors should understand that you cannot look at Adani Enterprises pure numbers and take a call on that. The reason being that there are multiple businesses which are at various stages of incubation, and hence may not qualify as a perfect benchmark to invest in. Rather, you need to go into the different segments and see, and then form a qualitative opinion. You need to do a little deep dive into the numbers, and also see where the numbers are headed. So we believe that all the incubating businesses of Adani are progressing very nicely.
Hmm.
Their airports business, which is going to be the next to be, you know, uh, demerged, over the next 3-4 years, is looking very, very promising. They've scaled back on the roads business. They've delayed their plans by 1 year on the hydrogen vertical. But what is important is that the growth trajectory is on track, and the $50 billion investment that they've spoken about stays. So the uncertainty goes away. They completed their copper business. Their coal to PVC is also on stream and for timely development. So we believe that all the businesses are doing very, very strong, and our earlier uh, positive note on the company warrants a relook, and we will be soon reinitiating on the stock, and we continue to say that the stock can be a multi-bagger over a 3 to 5 year period.
Got that. Well, thank you so much, Vineet, for that update. Well, we'll have to stop right here, and in fact, I'll take our viewers right to the cabinet briefing where Minister Anurag Thakur is speaking at this point in time and briefing the country about the 9 years of Modi government. Listen in.
शुरू करने की घोषणा की गई है, निर्णय किया गया है। इसके कंपोनेंट्स CIT IIS 1.0 की तरह 3 कंपोनेंट ही रहेंगे, लेकिन इसके ऊपर खर्चा जो है वो 1866 करोड़ रुपए इसके ऊपर खर्चा आएगा। अब ये 3 कंपोनेंट्स में पहले कंपोनेंट के अंतर्गत कंपटीशन के आधार पर 18 शहरों का चयन किया जाएगा और इन शहरों में सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी से संबंधित प्रोजेक्ट्स, जिसमें इंटीग्रेटेड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट को फोकस किया जाएगा और इसके लिए फंडिंग भी उपलब्ध करवाई जाएगी। किसी भी प्रोजेक्ट के लिए या राज्य की सरकार या लोकल बॉडी, अर्बन लोकल बॉडी, वो 20% पैसा देगी, भारत सरकार 80% पैसा देगी। पहाड़ी राज्य एवं नॉर्थ ईस्ट के राज्यों में 10% वो देंगे, 90% भारत सरकार पैसा देगी। और दूसरे कंपोनेंट के अंतर्गत राज्य सरकारों द्वारा स्टेट क्लाइमेट सेंटर और क्लाइमेट डेटा ऑब्जर्वेटरीज, क्लाइमेट एक्शन प्लान आदि जैसे स्टेट लेवल क्लाइमेट इनिशिएटिव्स को इंप्लीमेंट किया जाएगा। ये जो तीसरा कंपोनेंट है, इसके अंतर्गत नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ अर्बन अफेयर्स को क्लाइमेट गवर्नेंस में कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग हेतु 106 करोड़ रुपए का ग्रांट उपलब्ध करवाई जाएगी। इस कार्यक्रम के क्रियान्वयन से हमारी सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी और क्लीनर सिटीज के अभियान को बढ़ावा मिलेगा। यह कार्यक्रम हम 4 वर्ष के लिए लागू कर रहे हैं, 2023 से लेकर सन 2027 तक ये जारी रहेगा और इंटीग्रेटेड अर्बन मैनेजमेंट को बढ़ावा इससे मिलेगा। हमारी अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज को भी इससे बल मिलेगा, उनकी कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग भी होगी और हम आज की और भविष्य की पीढ़ियों के लिए क्लीनर एंड ग्रीन सिटीज देने का जो एक संकल्प लेके चलें, उस दिशा में भी आगे बढ़ेंगे। स्वच्छ और सुंदर हमारे शहर भी हों और सर्कुलर इकोनॉमीज के चलते हुए हम इस कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ा सके, उस दिशा में कदम उठाए गए। धन्यवाद।
क्वेश्चन 3 110 लक्ष्मण रॉय।
मेरा सवाल ये है कि ये जो अनाज भंडारण की व्यवस्था शुरू की जा रही है विश्व की सबसे बड़ी योजना, तो इसके तहत जो पैसा लाया जाएगा वो पैसा क्या इन्हीं स्कीम जिनका आपने जिक्र किया उन्हीं से पैसा लिया जाएगा कि फिर अतिरिक्त आवंटन किया जा रहा है? और दूसरा, अभी अनाज भंडारण में कमी की वजह से कितने वेस्ट होते थे और इस योजना के बाद क्या अनुमान है कि इस बर्बादी में कितनी कमी आएगी?
लक्ष्मण जी, आपने जो पूछा, ये जो हमारी अभी एग्जिस्टिंग स्कीम्स है, एग्रीकल्चर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फंड और हमारी पीएम किसान संपदा योजना या फिर पीएम एफएमई हो या एग्रीकल्चर मार्केटिंग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर स्कीम हो, इनके अंतर्गत जो पैसा अभी बजट में प्रावधान है उसका ही उपयोग किया जाएगा। अगर आप देखेंगे एग्रीकल्चर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फंड अपने आप में भी 1 लाख करोड़ रुपए की योजना है, तो उन सारी योजनाओं को इकट्ठा करके उसके लिए जो हम अगला एक्शन प्लान बनाएंगे उनमें अगर कुछ और चेंजेस भी लानी तो वो भी लाएंगे। पैसा यहीं से आ जाएगा, पैसे की कमी नहीं है, उसका बेटर यूटिलाइजेशन कैसे हो। कहीं पर इंटरेस्ट सबवेंशन मिलती है, कहीं पर सब्सिडी मिलती है, कहीं पर केवल शहरों तक सीमित होगा, कहीं का कुछ और उपयोग होगा। उन सबको एकजुट करके एक खाके में देख के कुल क्षमता बढ़ाने का काम किया जाएगा ताकि ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कॉस्ट भी बचे। और जो आपने कहा कितना बर्बाद होता था, इसके कई तरह के आंकड़े आते हैं, जहां पर कई बार तो कहा गया था कि 40% तक भी फल और सब्जियां बर्बाद हो जाती, जो पेरिशेबल गुड्स हैं, जो सीजनल है उसके ऊपर तो ज्यादा रहता है, लेकिन बाकी भी अन्न भंडारण की क्षमता ना होने के कारण किसान को सबसे बड़ी मार पड़ती थी, जिसको मजबूरी में अपना अनाज भी बेचना पड़ता था। तो उसको भी सुविधा मिलेगी और हमारे खाद्य सुरक्षा भी इससे बढ़ पाएगी।
Sir, we wanted to know exactly how much food grains are being destroyed because of lack of storage facilities. And will these storage facilities being created be used for fruits and vegetables also, or only for food grains? And one on the smart city, out of those 18 smart cities that you're planning to formulate under competition, will they be, will any state have more than one also?
मैं पहले सवाल का उत्तर दे दूं। अगर 47% हमारी कुल भंडारण की क्षमता है तो आप समझ ही सकते हैं कि कितना कमी है। और अगर राज्य वाइज देखेंगे तो मध्य प्रदेश में अगर 75% है तो पंजाब में 60% और हरियाणा में 64% है। लेकिन अगर बिहार में देखेंगे तो 26% है, तो राजस्थान में 25% है। तो पॉपुलेशन के हिसाब से देखेंगे और उनकी भंडारण क्षमता के आधार पर देखेंगे तो ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कहां ज्यादा होती है। इसी तरह से महाराष्ट्र में लगभग 57% है, तो पश्चिम बंगाल में 21% है। तो ये जो ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कॉस्ट भी कम होगी और ये जो हमारे प्रोडक्ट्स खराब हो जाते थे जहां भंडारण की क्षमता नहीं होती थी, उस पर भी बचत होगी। कितनी होती थी कुल, उसका मैं अभी आपको इमीडिएटली आंकड़ा नहीं बता पाऊंगा, लेकिन इसके बाद जब भी आपको मेरे पास आंकड़े उपलब्ध होंगे बता दूंगा। लेकिन समय समय पर इस तरह के आंकड़े सामने आते रहे कि जो पेरिशेबल गुड्स हैं, फल सब्जियां, ये सब, इनमें ज्यादा बर्बादी होती थी। जो बाकी खाद्यान्न की बात करते हैं तो उसमें भी बड़ी तादाद में अनाज के भंडारण ना होने की क्षमता ना होने के कारण भी नुकसान होता था। सिटीज एक से ज्यादा ले सकते हैं। ठीक, थैंक यू।
All right, you were listening to Cabinet Minister Anurag Thakur, who was talking about how he is looking at creating the storage facilities that would help minimize the destruction of food grains and wastage going forward from here. Talked about the smart cities that are also going to be getting generated, which will also be using these facilities at large. But let's get back to the markets right now. The kind of losses that we were seeing in the first half of trading session, that's considerably reduced at this point in time, with the Sensex now looking at a 280 point of a cut right now, with 62,685 levels currently, with a 0.5% decline. But it's the Nifty 50 that continues to be looking weaker at this point, with 0.7% of a decline and below 18,500 kind of levels. Although most of the sectors have also come out in the green as well, barring the financials and the Nifty Bank that continues to be under pressure in today's trading action. But we'll keep a track of how the markets move forward from here. What are the closing levels? And of course, markets are also nervous ahead of the GDP data that's likely to come out in the evening today, and the markets will be reacting to that in tomorrow's trading action. We'll continue to monitor all the triggers that will have an impact on the markets and therefore on your equity investments as well. And you can do the same by being with us on Business Today TV. To catch all the updates from the world of business and stock markets, do stay tuned with us on to Business Today TV. Many thanks for tuning in.